Good morning and welcome to the next episode of our podcast,
where we drink tea and navigate the balance between school and personal life.
I'm Sophia Safe.
And I'm Sophia Curry.
And this is Sip and Spill.
Welcome back to the Tea Journal.
The topic we'll be touching on today is the hype surrounding journaling and diaries.
So, let's start off with what exactly are they,
Like, what's a journal, what's a diary?
Yeah. Because
So
they can be very synonymous,
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of people tend to separate them in their head, try to make it less, childish.
Okay,
The diary is something you do when you're, like 10 years old, and you're like, this was my day. I did
have a crush on this boy.
Exactly.
And that's still fine.
Exactly.
Definitely there's no shame in doing that. But
I think that's why journaling and, a journal and a diary are synonymous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some people, it's just they theoretically can be the same thing, but, diaries typically record daily events and happenings, so it's just just like a daily, like a day in the life almost. Okay. And then while journals delve deeper into, reflecting on yourself, it's self-discovery and personal growth.
Right.
I think, journaling prompts and, there's tons of journaling prompts out there, like gratitude.
Yeah.
And, day reflection and night routine.
And we'll touch on this in a later segment.
There's also, there's different types of journals that it doesn't have to just be, self-discovery, bullet journals, with the to-do lists and the habit trackers.
And you have a bullet journal, right?
I do. Guilty of charge, have not kept up with it, so I'm gonna have to draw a giant line through all my yearly tracker, just because the past 5 months have been very up and down and crazy and haven't had time to do things. But
I feel you.
Yeah, I have multiple trackers in there. They're cute, but I haven't kept up with it. So
right.
But
yeah.
So there's stuff like that, like habit trackers. Did I work out today? Did I do that? Stuff like that. So honestly, that, I guess that's kind of how you can differentiate them,
Right. And also, if you feel that a journal or a diary describes what you're doing better than what its term is supposed to be,
right,
then by all means do it. It's your journal, it's your diary. Make it yours.
Yeah. You know what I remember is way back when, I don't even know if elementary schools still do this or middle schools, book fair.
Yeah, I do.
I was obsessed with book fair. It was so
too.
fun. Everybody was so excited, especially our elementary school, because they decorated the outside of the library for it, and we had a pretty big library door.
We did.
So it was just so cute. Very nostalgic.
We would always look forward to the book fairs.
Oh yeah. And there was also, other school events happening with it, but one of my core memories from book fair is getting, those little, lock and key journals?
Yes!
I had a dream diary. I bought one of those.
No way. I used to have this fluffy diary that had that little, generic childhood diary key. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I definitely have, I think I have at least 2 of those. I have no idea where they are. I might have even, thrown them out or given away.
Really?
I hope not. I probably have them saved in some box buried in my closet, but those are, very nostalgic to me, and I kind of love that. Sometimes I feel like diaries are more nostalgic, almost, and journaling's kind of yes, a diary's a day-to-day, day in a life, da-da-da-da, whatever. But they also feel it's nostalgic, you can go back and read what's happening. Journaling is very self-reflective, which I guess it can be nostalgic, but not so much. It's more for personal improvement, I feel like.
I recently discovered I didn't write in a journal because I didn't have one at that time, or I did, but I didn't write in it. Right. I found these little sheets of paper that I had rolled up into these little scrolls.
Oh, cute.
And I recently reread them, and they were just my beef with friends in elementary school. This was 4th grade. I kid you not.
Can you share one?
No,
share one.
I refuse. There's no way.
Darn.
It was just about, okay, fine.
Share one.
I'm not going to drop any names, obviously.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
But I think it was about someone upset someone else.
Right.
And so it was a classic situation of which friend do I side with.
Oh.
Because I was friends with the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And one person had upset the other by saying something.
Yeah.
I did not give much detail in my diary.
Your little scroll.
But it was like this like mesh between a journal and a diary where it was a daily event, but I was also reflecting on like the pros and cons list, of course, of each friend, and whether I should just stick to myself and not pick a side.
And see, like, I don't know if you remember, like, writing those. Do you remember writing
Not
those?
at all, but I remember the scenario.
But, like, I feel like that can help somebody process stuff. Like, that's, like, the nice thing. And I feel like journals and diaries can kind of converge into one sometimes. Like, you know, your diary can very much... Diaries are, you know, very self-reflective, too, which is why, you know, journaling and diarying are very, like... You know, they can be synonymous and stuff, but I was like, it made me wonder, like, the fact that when we were writing, you know, the title for this episode, I was like, you know, do people consider there a difference between a journal versus a diary? Which I think that's a pretty good question, so y'all should answer that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should drop your answer and tell us whether or not you think there's a difference between a journal and a diary. However,
I feel like a lot of people tend to think that there's a difference based on name, like a journal is cooler. Like, journaling is cooler or, like, more aesthetic than writing in a diary, which is childish.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely something. Saying. So, one of the things we were going to talk about was, you know, the hype surrounding journaling. Because I definitely... It depends, I think, on the type of person you are. Not, like, this is not, like, shaming people, but it depends on kind of what you're into, what your feed is like on, like, you know, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you watch stuff on. But, you know, I think it's become really popular. Like, Pinterest.
Yeah.
Like, just for one. You can find, like, aesthetic journaling things everywhere.
I know I have a board labeled journaling that has different kinds of, like, yearly trackers that you can write in and stuff like that. And I feel like the internet has definitely romanticized writing in, like, journals specifically, but also writing in a diary.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And, like, I like that it's been kind of almost, like, I mean, no, it has been popularized. I like that because, you know, I like seeing what, like, these different, like, aesthetic... And there's, like, even ASMR journaling.
Yes.
And, like, kind of watching that, it's just, like, like, it's really... And it's just, like... And it kind of inspires you to do your own, and it pushes you... Sometimes it pushes you a little bit out of your comfort zone because it's allowing you to take time and effort to put into something, like, you know, to make it look nice. And it's therapeutic in a way because it's, like, it's not supposed to be stressful. It's just, you know, making it nice. But when you look back on it, it's like, oh, okay, it's clean. It's nice to look at. It's self-reflective. And I love that. And, you know, in my bullet journal, it was nice to see that, like, that I was having, you know, those sort of things. And I tried to do, like, a monthly reflection, but it did kind of fall off in the beginning of the year just because of life happenings. But, you know, you can see, like, those, like, I feel like, you know, that it girl mentality.
Yes.
Like, and, like, even the day in the life videos, I think it converges and you can see them journaling. They're like, and then I journaled. And you can see them doing different things, or, you know, those, like, aesthetic pictures with, like, the girls journaling with their, like, AirPod headphones stuff on. And it's just, like, I mean, I have to wonder how it got so popular, number one.
That's an interesting question.
I think, I think my theory, at least, is with the increasing popularity of social media, more people are putting their life out there and their habits. And, you know, there have already people who have been, like, romanticizing and making their lives aesthetic before social media existed.
Right.
But also mental health awareness has, like, grown immensely, I think, also because of social media, as well as, you know, it being social media being detrimental to our mental health. It's at least increased the awareness of mental health.
Right, and the more people that journal, the more people see it.
Yeah, like I feel like mental health is very big in journaling. Like I think like you get a lot of mental health benefits from it.
Absolutely.
So that increasing awareness of like, oh, like mental health is a positive thing to talk about, and then you like, and combined with like the it girl mentality routines and such, then it's like
Romanticizing your life.
yes, then you start like posting like, oh, let's look at journal prompts, or what are things that I can do, and then you see that and it feeds on other people, and then other people are like, oh, like I want to get into that, I want to like self-improve, and they see the journaling and it's like, oh, it's aesthetic, it's pretty.
Right.
And it like kind of grows from there.
And we have a little experience in consistent journaling when it comes to our HBS class as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're doing the work, it's tedious and it's not always fun. But when you see the end result of your like journal, it makes you feel good.
I loved looking at my journal, and sometimes doing the lab journal was therapeutic to us.
Agreed. Like we would color.
Yeah.
We would color in like a diagram of a heart or a skeleton or lungs.
And just taking the time to cut them out and like make it look nice, paste it in there. And then when you flip back and you look at it and it's just like, wow, I have this nice journal to study from. Like that's kind of my philosophy with notes too, is I try to make my notes look nice so that like when I go back, it's like, A, things are easy to find because it's organized and stuff, but also it's like my eyes don't feel like ugh when I look at it. Like it's nice to look at.
And you're not struggling to read your handwriting.
It's not like a book, like one by one. Yes. Like, I mean, depending on how you feel, you should set it up. But I think that's one of the things that's like nice about that. And journaling can go in so many different directions.
You really put your personal thoughts and feelings into your journal as well. You're not just reading about someone else's experiences. These are your own experiences that you're reflecting on.
I definitely. And then like, I think trends also result like into furthering diaries. Like I think trends in terms of like expression, and then like they'll write that down in like a journal, like, you know, I'm trying to think of a good example. For lack of a better example, this one's kind of sad, but like, you know, we remember way back when the Me Too movement. And I feel like that could have sparked a lot of things where, you know, people started becoming more open with their lives, and then like allowing themselves to process and say like, you know, me too, and empowerment. And something like that I feel like can really further a journal in a way, because then you're like, you look into that, like say you're like, oh, you're inspired by that trend. Right. And then you're like, hey, you know, I have a story similar to that, or I have, you know, an experience that I went through that was traumatic, and, you know, this movement and people expressing themselves is empowering me to get better and see it. And then you find journaling. Like I feel like trends push people into doing that, or different like movements and like awareness push people into doing that. Yeah. Do you think it's worth the hype?
Journaling? Yeah, I'd say, especially because of the personal and mental health benefits. Right. I feel like actually not enough people have started journaling. Yeah. I feel like the majority of people that are journaling are already really healthy. And also, journaling being in their lives has made them healthier. Yeah, agreed. I think like also, I think people are afraid to do it because it does sound childish, or it sounds cliche, but it's like, I think it's like, it's one of the things that's becoming more widely accepted, and I think that one of the things we'll talk about a lot during this episode is it worth the hype? Like, and I feel like that's something that that's like I feel like that could be like a section almost on like a segment on our podcast. Like, is it worth the hype? And we'll talk about something related to the theme. Yeah. Like, you know, is this worth the hype? And we can kind of touch back to that on other episodes. But is like, I think journaling and diary like writing is worth the hype. But I disagree that most people think it's childish. I think a lot of people are intimidated. Oh, that too. I think it's an intimidating process. Also, putting all of your feelings on a paper and seeing them stare back at you is also intimidating. I think it's a big step. It's a really big step. And also, it takes commitment, too. Absolutely. And once you fall off, it's really hard to, like, climb back on that consistency.
Yeah.
And consistency really is key when it comes to journaling.
Yeah.
I feel like it is hard to come back to journaling after you've stepped away.
Mhm. Yeah. I agree. I mean, there are definitely personally for me, benefits. Like, it's nice to see growth. Like, you can see personal growth
Absolutely.
with where you've gone, and you can kind of reflect on that, and it gives you a part of your day that's meant for you. Like,
Right.
like
Like a
mindfulness.
recess.
Yeah, it's like a recess. I mean, journaling is, like a mindfulness tactic. It's used by tons and tons of mental health
Absolutely.
professionals.
It forces you to confront what you're feeling.
Mhm.
And I feel like not a lot of things that you do in a day-to-day basis does that for you.
Yeah, I agree. But the other thing is, sometimes journaling isn't for everybody, and
Oh
like that's
yeah.
like fine too. But one of the things that we love about this is like personally for us, like we've seen growth, and we've seen like a lot of fun, like you can even do fun stuff with it. Like I liked tracking my mood, and like you can pick fun colors
Mhm.
and do fun things and decorate it. Like,
That or make it messy. I
yeah,
know a lot of people thrive in messy environments more than clean ones, and keeping it clean might be intimidating.
yeah,
Messy writing.
it's completely customizable to
Absolutely.
you. That's
And I
really
think
satisfying, honestly.
agreed. And being able to customize it to yourself is also really healing.
Yes.
Because in that, you're also finding out a lot about who you are as a person. It also helps you figure out really how you process emotions.
Yeah.
Because if you start to journal and you realize this isn't helping me at all, you can try and help yourself find a new way, you know?
This leads me to think of something else that we don't really have listed here, but scrapbooking.
Yeah.
Like, I know scrapbooking, and people tend to think of that as like, oh, like memories or something book, but I've seen like I've seen tons of ASMR videos of like something like themed scrapbooks for
Hmm.
different things that they just find like different little stickers, and I don't even know, like it's always very aesthetic, and stamps, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I actually know someone who scrapbooks, and they take things from like, like a sticker off an orange pack, or like a ticket to a concert, or like a school theater production.
Okay.
And it's sweet how they take even like the like minuscule things and they put it there as like an anecdote to their life.
I've kept some stuff like that. Like I've kept um like whenever we have an orchestra concert at the high school, like I'll keep the program.
Mm-hmm.
I hopefully have one from my freshman year, like both of them from my freshman year. I think I have it both from my sophomore year, like this past year. But yeah, cuz I want a scrapbook, and like it's a nice little snapshot of your life, and that can also be very reflective for
Mm-hmm.
you. Like you can do different things, and that's definitely like a creative outlet that you can use. And so, like, that's, I think, another form of journaling that I've seen, like, get very popular on social media.
I feel like it's a crossover between journaling and a diary because I mean
Mm-hmm.
like it shows stuff from your daily life, bringing different
Yeah.
aspects in, but then it also reflects on like your feelings about that, you know.
Mm-hmm. I feel like journals and diaries can be very much umbrella terms in this.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like people can take it, like, any which way, like gratitude journals and tracker journals and, diaries, like, my deepest secrets or self reflection or, like, they can go like I feel like they're, umbrella terms. So I think we both have definitely personally like benefited from it because it's just therapeutic to us.
Agreed.
So, I mean, I think the main takeaway would be like, I think we think it's worth the hype.
Oh yeah.
And it's definitely gotten popular as a result of mental health awareness, and
Absolutely. And it allows you to delve deeper into yourself and
mm-hmm.
reflect and confront your feelings that you might not be able to otherwise.
Or it's just, something you can do for fun, like good routine, giving yourself a break, because you can kind of just you can even track fun
Oh
things. Like,
yeah.
it's just nice to see how your life has progressed, you know, through a diary or through, you know, stuff, and you can look back on memories because no one really remembers like day to day specifically, you know, unless they write it down. And like imagine, you know, coming back 20 years and looking back on like something you wrote and being like, wow, what, like, even though this day was like pretty normal, like I can't believe I like talked like this. Or you can see like personal development, which I definitely think is pretty cool.
Agreed.
For the most part, you know.
So that pretty much wraps up our tea journal for this week.
Welcome back to Chamomile Corner.
For today, we'll be discussing the benefits of journaling and diaries.
So let's start off with like why journaling is good for you, because I think we've learned a lot from, you know, obviously we've learned through social media and just like as we were saying in the tea journal and how it's exploded in popularity.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has to be good for you if people are doing it that much.
So now that we talked about the what, let's talk about the why.
Yes.
Why do you journal? So research suggests a wide range of physical, cognitive, and emotional benefits from expressive writing, which is to say journaling or diarying.
I wish there was a verb for that. But continuing on.
So these benefits can include lowered blood pressure, improved lung and liver function, less time spent in the hospital, better moods, improved psychological well-being, fewer depressive and avoidance symptoms, reduced stress-related visits to the doctor, less work absenteeism, less time out of work following job loss, and higher student grade averages. So this feels like a wide range of different ages, and this is all based on client self-reports.
Yes.
Like people who have journaled themselves.
Okay. And again, just to reiterate, every time we reference something, we will always link our resources in our description. Wow, you're rubbing off on me.
I'm so sorry.
In our description. But to continue on, you know, keeping a record of personal thoughts and feelings is particularly helpful in supporting mental health, which this comes from webmd.com. It can reduce anxiety. It breaks away from a nonstop cycle of obsessive thinking and brooding, which I know I definitely have. You know, it improves the awareness and perception of events, regulates emotions, encouraging awareness, and boosting physical health, which, of course, Sophia just listed off a bunch of, you know, pretty nice sounding physical benefits.
Research into gratitude journaling actually specifically suggests that study participants who regularly drew their attention to aspects of their lives that made them feel blessed increased their positivity.
Yes. And I've heard that a ton of times, and, you know, I think people talk about that a lot. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you should write down something you're thankful for. And I think that allows us, and it starts to form our subconscious mind into focusing on things that, like, you know, if you're having a really bad day, watch it, like, trains yourself to be like, well, at least, you know, I was able to do this, or I had a good day here. And it's like, you know, it doesn't make you feel like your day was such a waste.
Right. And I feel like writing a small gratitude at the end of your journal is really good. But apparently, too much of a good thing can become a bad thing. Because recording what makes us feel grateful every day can become, like, and the word, like, the same all the time.
Oh.
Like boring.
Boring, redundant.
And can, like, zap positivity.
Yes. Which I've definitely noticed. I mean, one thing for me, I'm more of, like, a spiritual, religious person as a result of, like, my childhood and growing up. But one of the things that I noticed every day was, I'd pray and I'd say, oh, you know, thank you, God, for this, 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 and this. But every day it'd be, like, the exact same thing. And then it didn't feel as special when I would, you know, say thank you for those things, because it was like I said it yesterday and I'm saying it over and over again, and it's almost like it's kind of not saying like losing its sparkle, but it's like, you know, it feels like its meaning is kind of diminished almost. Do you feel like you get what I mean?
No, I agree. It becomes monotonous.
It's like, yeah, it's very monotonous, it's very redundant, and it's almost as if like you're not even trying anymore, whereas if you really sit down and you pick out things like, I would say if you were to do it daily, like gratitude, like pick out something unique from your day.
Agreed. Not something.
Like, I'm thankful for my
Right.
family and friends. Like, of
Right.
course you're
'Cause
thankful for your family and friends, but like
agreed.
it helps expand your vision from just like your redundant positivities
Hmm.
in your life, I think.
And also saying you're thankful for your family and friends, again, for example, can really force you to take it for granted, kind of.
Yeah.
Saying it every day, saying you're thankful, really makes it lose its meaning.
Mhm. Yeah, it's almost like, if you eat your favorite food all the time, you don't like it as
Hmm.
much anymore because you've gotten used to it. Like I know specifically for me, like when I was younger, I used to love whenever we got rotisserie chicken. Like
Interesting.
I'd be so excited because we just typically wouldn't buy it and it was really good. And then, we got a Costco membership and they like make good rotisserie chicken and it's fine. But then we started literally getting it every week and now
Oh,
not a huge fan.
that's
And it's kind of sad cuz I remember being like, "Yes, we're getting rotisserie chicken." And now I'm like, "Oh, we're getting rotisserie chicken." And
wow.
it's like sad. But another thing that journaling is widely used for expressive writing, which
Mm.
can be in a journal or a diary like we were saying, but it's typically performed over 3 or 4 sessions, if you were doing this in therapy to access the client's innermost feelings and thoughts. So this can really show people who they are on the inside and it's very insightful. And it also just lets your mind like be free from like our very controlled society.
Right. Study findings suggest that accepting our feelings is linked to better psychological health and positive therapeutic outcomes,
Yes.
including, say, improved moods and reduced anxiety.
Mhm.
And this is where journaling can help. Um, I feel like it can promote acceptance and mindful acceptance in particular, which is a valuable and effective way of getting unstuck. And like you
Mm.
said, freeing ourselves.
Yes. And like one of the things that is also like listed here is like there's like an emotional catharsis to it. It's an
Mm-hmm.
emotional release of unconscious conflicts through venting negative feelings. So even if you do have a bad day, you can, if you vent it out, on paper, you can let it go. And it sounds so like ridiculous almost sometimes to say, and I feel like a lot of people are like, just because I put it out there and I talked about it doesn't mean it's going to be fine. But it's like it allows you to have some peace of mind. It's almost like, like the philosophy that like holding secrets, and then like as soon as you say it, you feel better because you're like, oh, I'm not the only one who
Mm-hmm.
knows now, or I don't have to hold it in. It's almost exactly the same thing with like, venting. And I feel like people kind of tend to lose perspective on that. And that's one of the things that journaling can really help with is if you're not comfortable telling people,
Tell
journal it
yourself.
out. Tell yourself, like, like make an imaginary friend, like tell someone else and it can help.
Absolutely.
And then it increases cognitive processing, so time spent creating coherent narratives of what happened. So it's strengthening your brain's processing and recollection of events too.
And then we actually talked about this in mental health and trauma, but it can like help you with repeated exposure
Yes.
because increased and prolonged exposure to stressful events can lead to a reduction in harmful thoughts and feelings.
Yes. And then emotional inhibition, actively inhibiting negative emotions takes a considerable effort, further stressing the body and mind. Confronting them may support cognitive integration and further understanding. And I think that's a huge thing to touch on is like it's whole everybody has their own view and side of the story. And one of the things we talked about in our trauma episode was, how sometimes we like subconsciously block things out. We don't
Mm-hmm.
even realize like we forgot something about an event or we missed a detail. And then, if you start recollecting it, you're like, "Oh wow, wait, hold on, I'm remembering something and I totally forgot about that." And it's like it helps recollect your, oh my gosh, events, but also you can confront stuff and you can understand the situation better because I know like if you say something in your head, it sounds, different than when you put it out loud. And then you like, if you reread it or you like re go over it and you can see it, you're like, oh wow, wait, maybe I was in the wrong, or maybe this
Mm-hmm.
person wasn't the best, or
I feel like your feelings and thoughts are like kind of tangled in your head.
yes.
And you saying these things or writing them out kind of like slowly but surely untangles that string and helps you see a
Mm-hmm.
bigger picture than you might have been seeing before.
It gives you something tangible to hold on to
Mm-hmm.
because more often than not, feelings are not tangible. Obviously you can't see them and stuff, and everything gets jumbled up in there like you said. But being able to tangibly see your feelings and be like, and this is what happened, it's like, oh, okay, and you can start to understand it better. So definitely the emotional inhibition part, that's definitely good. So we can move on to, the benefits, which we of course have already listed off, but
Mm-hmm.
we're going to list some 5 surprising benefits, as our website says,
Of
of
journaling.
journaling. So you can go first.
Okay. So, well, obviously can benefit with different people involving mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start with that. So, journaling has proven popular and effective for treating clients experiencing anxiety because of an improved acceptance of negative emotions and a more emotional response to stress.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
So, it's saying really that journaling is helping you accept what you're feeling. With anxiety, I feel like journaling helps you really see the gravity of a situation and whether or not it's as big as you see it to be. And so
Mm.
by journaling, you're really putting it on paper what the situation is. And as you're not in the situation itself, you can see really how much the situation holds and
Yeah.
whether, and like how you can respond to it in the future, whether your response was, appropriate or not. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that helps with an emotional response to future situations.
Yeah. You can do self-reflection with it too. Like you write down that
Mm-hmm.
situation, you're like, this was an anxiety-provoking situation for me. And then of course online, like you don't even have to do it by yourself. You can find like anxiety like journal prompts, reflection,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety reflection prompts almost, and be like, what caused me to feel anxious in this situation? Why do I think it made me feel anxious? And then it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, how can I improve this situation? What can I, and I think another big thing with anxiety is control. And,
Right.
or at least for me, and my anxiety is, control. And then you can write down, what can I control about this situation versus what can I not control? And that's a big thing that I think journaling really helps with. Like, I know that's a really common phrase that people, tell people to think about, but journaling and writing it out can help solidify it, I feel like,
Right.
because you can see it and it's not just something you repeat in your head. Then we can move on into journaling for depression. Um, research research suggests that expressive writing and gratitude journaling can reduce symptoms of depression, providing an effective intervention for clients receiving treatment and therapy. Go ahead.
As with anxiety, such interventions also appeared more effective when lasting longer than 30 days. While benefits may be not as great for anxiety and post traumatic stress disorder, journaling still appears to be a valuable intervention.
Mm-hmm.
So, we actually talked about this a little bit in the trauma episode,
Mm-hmm.
where we talked about what was it, the book that we had referenced?
The PTSD workbook.
Right. And looking through the prompts that helped go through people who might have trauma associated with a certain event.
Yeah. And they were definitely the prompts that we were reading out were very journal like.
Mm-hmm.
And, the book itself was very journal like, almost, for lack of a better term. It was, you writing out your feelings, writing out a situation, and, helping like delve deeper into it and understanding what really happened and how you can move past that. And for depression, again, like you can see from how the client's just vouching for themselves, the emotional improvement after expressively writing. I think it's freeing and it allows somebody to let go of that, I don't want to say darkness, that sounds so mean, but like, that pit kind of that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of allows them to climb out of it because they're seeing more than just whatever's in their head, because it's like again, like I was saying, you can reread it back to yourself, even with like the anxiety situation and, reflecting on
And
scenarios.
seeing the bigger picture.
It helps to, and then, of course, with the help of a therapist, it helps you to see, you can pick out things that I'm like, okay, this is a bright spot. And it starts to, pull you out of that dark point and, give you some light in your life. And I think it's really helpful with that.
The next thing is journaling for stress management.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, journaling can support coping and reduce the impact of stressful events, potentially avoiding burnout and chronic anxiety. Studies link writing privately about stressful events and stressful events and capturing thoughts and emotions on paper with decreased mental distress. So, I feel like this comes back to confronting your feelings and going through the event that you went through to try and bring out the bigger picture that you might have not seen before. Also, seeing the brevity of the situation and whether your response was appropriate or not. Like we said with anxiety.
Yeah, like it definitely goes back to that. And I think, stress management is like a huge thing. I think that and anxiety go very hand in hand. But just, it helps you reflect on that stressful environment. And even if it's not like entirely negative, you can reflect on what you did positively and say, hey, I did a really good job managing this today.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, and it allows you to kind of sink in more with what happened just in your day in general. Even if it's like, I'm not trying to improve anything right now, I'm just going to let myself be proud of what I just did. And that's also helpful too, because that gives you something to hold on to as well in life. And it just overall like increases your, I don't want to say increases your day. I'm like having that thought process. It like overall like increases the morale almost of your day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. Also, processing our emotions in written form would increase the likelihood that we reach out for social support. And this in turn leads to emotional healing and improved resilience to stress.
Yeah. And I think that's really important because stress also usually comes as a result of other interactions with society, people, work, projects, etc., etc. And healing that social support, because if the stress is coming from the social aspect, to heal that and come back and say, so that social aspect isn't just a point of stress but also support, is healing, and that's helpful in improving your daily life.
Right.
So I think is this the last one? No, there's two more.
But I feel like journaling for reflection we've touched on so many times, and we know all the benefits, really. Yeah. And also reflection itself is a benefit of journaling for anxiety,
for sure,
trauma, all of the above, depression, stress management.
Yeah. So when stressed or consumed by negative thoughts, it's difficult to view our situation objectively, which I think, again, we had touched on in all the other benefits. Writing in a journal can help us create the space and distance needed to reflect on what has happened, where we are, and what is ahead.
Journaling may create sufficient cognitive diffusion, which is looking at thoughts rather than being in them, to create the separation needed to accept our feelings and commit to the changes we need to make.
Yeah. And we definitely like almost word for word said literally that, which proves it goes to show that it does help, and this is also taken from credible sources, just to say, and it's also all linked in there. But to go ahead and say that like it can create that different perspective for us is so important, because it's very common that it's difficult to find your own perspective, like a different perspective from it.
So next is journaling for recovery. So research suggests that journaling, particularly expressive writing, can help those experiencing or recovering from the emotional trauma associated with PTSD. So we touched on this before when we were talking about stress management.
Yeah, and trauma too. Like there's, again, what we're learning here is there's a bunch of different uses for journaling. You can do, recovery stuff, managing stuff, reflecting on things, and just kind of even seeing where you are in life, just like as like, I don't want like a checkout, like a checkpoint part in your life, and it's nice to see, so you can kind of check in with yourself and be like, hey, where am I at right now? So another innovative approach combined journaling with oh my gosh.
You good?
Wow, visualization, and appeared to offer lasting support to war veterans, which we all know they suffer from, some serious trauma.
Mm-hmm. Other findings confirm journaling as a valuable and effective intervention for recovery from addiction.
Okay. And then a 2022 paper highlighted the ability of journaling to support the recovery of women in residential treatment for substance use disorders. Results showed that the intervention, quote, helped participants to recognize what was positive about recovery, to achieve meaningful short-term goals, and to experience a sense of optimism and pride in their accomplishments, quote. Which I think, again, we were saying before, and it's like, it allows you to appreciate what you've already done, and this is huge just in general in life, and I think, this can connect back to our setting healthy goals, and that you journal, everything might seem like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere, because, I haven't reached that big end goal I might have set for myself, but if you're able to celebrate the little wins, it can help you keep going.
Absolutely. So let's move on into the psychological benefits of keeping a diary. I feel like a lot of these are going to be pretty similar.
Yeah, but they're very, very similar. However, I feel like diaries can be a little bit more personal sometimes. Like journaling is very broad. Journaling, like we were saying, they're very much umbrella terms. I feel like journaling is like the biggest umbrella term for everything you could do, any type, and then a diary is like, I feel like, a specific type of journal.
Agreed. Okay, so do you want to jump into it?
Sure. So the number one thing we have here, which we said before, was improving self-awareness.
So getting to know yourself in this way, and like writing, provides an opportunity to communicate your feelings in a tangible way. Current research looking into diary keeping has shown that the act of writing provides a tool that can unlock the thoughts and feelings you might be disregarding. So we really already touched on this when we talked about journaling and how it helps you confront your feelings and emotions.
But it also helps you see stuff that you might have unintentionally blocked out or didn't even realize you had, pushed deep down, kind of almost like that situation with the trauma where you didn't realize that a certain event or detail of that event had occurred, and you're like, wow, that kind of changed my perspective on what happened. The next one we have is managing your nerves, which of course we had touched on too. Keeping a diary has the ability to reduce our anxieties and settle our nerves in potentially stressful situations. To keep a diary of your thoughts and emotions surrounding situations you feel uncomfortable with, this enables you to develop a sense of control and therefore reducing your anxiety.
It also improves metacognition. Metacognition is the ability to critically analyze how you think. This might mean evaluating how well you performed and what caused your successes and failures. So research has shown that people who keep diaries experience greater metacognition through the development of self-regulatory strategies such as effective preparation, monitoring, and self-questioning.
Yeah. And I think that, is a huge part of, improving yourself, not in, a mental health sort of way, but just an overall physical processing, which is definitely nice because it's like you can kind of improve how you function on a higher level and say, hey, I'm able to, it helps you develop a skill. Critical thinking is huge, especially in our day and age and everything we do. So to be able to critically analyze a situation, and this can help you further your successes in life. I feel like if you, say you're a business person and you're running a business and you're just starting out and you sell stuff, and you can go at the end of the month and you journal, you might even say you have a staff meeting. That's almost kind of like this in a form of journaling. You go over what you guys did well and what you did wrong and what you can improve, and it helps you to further your business, and then eventually it grows. Everybody started out from nobody knowing their business to all of a sudden everybody knows the business. So that just journaling in that sense can help you improve your successes in life and how you operate, and which is a great thing, honestly.
So next is that it reduces procrastination.
Yes. So, diaries have the ability to improve an individual's time management, which I think we talked a little bit about this and, staying with consistency.
Right.
There is a well-known thinking bias called planning fallacy, which states that we underestimate the time it will take to complete a future task. By using a diary, we can evaluate our past experiences in order to better plan for tasks ahead.
So, Sophia, you actually just touched on this when you were talking about your business plan. Or how journaling is like a business, where you can evaluate really what you did well and what you did wrong to help you better grow. And so this is one of those ways that a diary can do that.
Yes. And, I think everybody struggles with procrastination. I mean, I definitely do. And I think any high school student does. And it's not to shame people because honestly, like, hello, it's hard. Like, school is busy, life is busy. And so, we have to push certain things aside in order to make time for other things. However, having this one consistent thing in your life can help you. It forces you into a routine, and then you're able to start developing a routine for other things and managing that as it said. Now, our fifth one here is improving memory.
So, diaries have been shown to improve our working memory by allowing us to retain information for greater periods of time. So, the APA, or the American Psychology Association, states that although effects were modest, expressive writing frees up space in the working memory by removing intrusive and avoidant thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I can't touch too deep into that one because I haven't done enough journaling, I think, to do that. But
I agree.
I think it does, go back to the venting almost on paper. It kind of frees up that emotional space so that you can give that energy somewhere else. And then also, to talk about, expressive writing frees up the space in the working memory by removing intrusive and avoidant thoughts. It's almost like taking out the trash.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting rid of that overflowing, stuff that, you needed to process, and by writing it down, you're therefore processing it and freeing up space for the next kind of thing you need to process.
Agreed. Taking out that emotional baggage.
Yes. And our last one here is it improves well-being. So, evidence has indicated that keeping a diary can make you happier. Imagine that. Whilst it seems like a trivial task, diary keeping has shown to reduce depressive thoughts and behaviors by providing the writer with increased control, which definitely touches back on something this website had already said today.
Absolutely.
And then this useful intervention has also been seen to have long-lasting effects on mental health, which I think everybody's looking for, and we definitely need to talk about that.
Absolutely. So,
I mean, some final thoughts is, obviously we discussed some of the scientific benefits. And, this type of habit, diary keeping, helps people in different walks of life, and it's an easy way to improve your well-being, physically and mentally. And I think it's a really good thing because it can help you further your successes in life and help you improve you as a whole. And it gives you structure.
Right, and it improves, like you said, your mental health. Okay, so that wraps up Chamomile Corner.
Welcome back to A Sip of Serenity.
To recap, this segment is basically a more in-depth segment on how to, quote, glow up, physical and mental aspects of your life.
For today, we'll be sticking with our journaling and diaries theme and talking about how to start them.
So we touched on the what and the why, and so now this is the how.
Cute. Okay. So I think, it's always really intimidating for people to start a journal and, the consistency and everything we have already talked about in this episode. But now we kind of get to debunk it or not even debunk it, but
how to
decompose it for you, break it down for you, so it seems a little more manageable.
Yeah, let's do this. So, step number 1,
choose your medium. Cute. All right. Do we even know what a medium is?
Okay.
as the audience.
So, what a medium would be is where you choose to keep your journal.
Okay,
So
there you go.
let's start with a physical notebook. So you can select a notebook that appeals to you. Lined, blank, dotted, small or large. It can be as simple as a dollar store find or a more luxurious option. So this is like writing your journal on paper.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of this is personal preference. I know personally for me, I like graphing paper because it's, it helps me keep everything neat and in line, and it's just nice to have. Now, there's also a digital journal that you can do. You can explore apps like Day One, Penzu, or even the Simple Notes app.
Right. So step 2 is to find your space. So this you can identify a space where you feel you can focus on journaling.
So does this mean, a physical place, like a place in your house or somewhere in the community?
So this can be like a quiet, comfortable setting or a bustling cafe, for example. Whatever helps you focus best.
Okay. I think, definitely think about if you were doing your homework, per se, where do you do your homework best?
Right.
And then take that place and, realize like, okay, what helps me focus? What about that is helping me focus? Because, sometimes people don't have access to it all the time. Like I know for me, I unfortunately do my homework best in study hall, but I can't take study hall home and do study hall at 9 p.m. So you can kind of help replicate it, if you can identify certain things you like about that atmosphere.
Right, and there are also different apps that can kind of give that illusion. I know there's this one website that allows you to create an environment of like a cafe where it gives you those noises in your head.
I've been searching for that.
Really?
I feel like I know what you're talking about. There's multiple, but there's this one specific one, and I can't remember the name of the website. It's kind of making me upset.
We'll link it in the bio.
Yeah. Sophia knows it, but
I do know it.
Hopefully if I figure out this other one, I will definitely link it because I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." And a lot of these websites, like you can find tons of websites, will have like extra add-ons you can do, changing like you can set like timers.
Absolutely. And also this can either be like a set time or this can be like something you do when you have time.
Yes.
Like I feel like a lot of people have really busy schedules and it's hard to find a set time every day.
Oh yeah.
So like if you have, like you said, like a study hall, that might be a good time if it's consistent every single day. Just take 5 to 10 minutes out of that.
Right. And one of the other things that you can do, even to help you find that space, there's tons of like videos on YouTube, like like if you've ever seen like those lo-fi girl videos.
Yes.
I in middle school was obsessed with that channel. I would put that on every single time I would do my homework, and honestly I should start doing that again because she was fun to study with.
Do you remember when it was called Chilled Cow?
Yes, I do.
I loved that.
So yeah, I definitely will link that in the bio too for all you.
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna definitely link a bunch of different mediums, for the people who like a little stimulation, for the people who like quiet nature noises, etc.
Absolutely. So the next step is to set a schedule.
So you touched a little bit about that. I did. Like, you can choose a specific time or a few times a week. I think people feel pressure from journaling because they're like, oh God, I gotta do it every single day, super regimented, but that's not true.
And also, if you have a really busy schedule where you never have a consistent schedule, you can just take whenever you have like a free time or a free recess to just take whatever time you have to journal. It doesn't have to be a consistent, like minute to minute, like change. It can be like 7 minutes one day and then 2 minutes the next.
Yeah. I think consistency is something that people think of it as more of a blocky term, like, it has to be one way, but I think, consistency has different kind of tones to it. Like, consistency can look like, once a month for, anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes a day to some people do better. If it's every single day for 5 minutes and then they keep something going and they're like, all right, now I got to put my pencil down. And then there's, of course we touched on, how consistency is key. So you do still have to, try to keep up with it. So I think if you know your schedule, pick something that you know will work for you. You know,
Right.
don't start every day if you know that's unrealistic for you.
And you might find it helpful to journal right after a routine activity like brushing your teeth. This way, it comes with something you already have a routine with, and it's easier to keep consistent.
Yes. And then step 4 is start writing, which this is of course the biggest step.
So don't overthink it. Simply begin by writing about your day, your feelings, or anything that comes to mind.
And I think tons of people tend to I would definitely overthink it, especially if, you know, with the whole social media aspect and people are like, this is my cute aesthetic journal, this is what I do, and then you feel pressured to do the same thing. Journals, like we were saying earlier, are completely customizable to you.
100%.
Don't worry about who you're bothering or if you're saying the right thing or if, you know, like, because ultimately, unless you decide to show it to somebody, which of course is ultimately up to you, nobody's judging you for what you're writing in there. I mean, this is for you, not anybody else.
Right.
So don't, you know.
Don't worry about grammar, spelling, or perfect sentences.
Yes.
Just let your thoughts flow.
And that's also, I feel like, an intimidating thought. So if that in the beginning feels like really difficult for you, write something that you know you can, this is going to sound like kind of not passive aggressive. This is going to sound like cliche stupid, but it's like write what you know you can write.
Like a simple observation?
Yes, like things that you know you won't overthink. You can be like, start by like just observing your room, like, and it sounds stupid, but it allows you to kind of relax into it and, you know, unlock your flow, I guess I would kind of call it.
Right. You can start with like simple observations, like I went to the grocery store today, or I'm feeling a bit anxious. You can also try journaling prompts for inspiration. So
Yes.
A couple that we have listed here are, what made you smile today?
Yes. What are you grateful for?
What are you most proud of achieving this week?
What are you looking forward to?
So these are a couple prompts that I found just by just really quickly looking up like general journaling prompts. And then of course, if you want to start like a gratitude journal, you can easily look up gratitude journal prompts, and you can look up a wide variety of different types of journal prompts, or just like I said, general journal prompts.
And of course, you can set it up with what you feel is best for you. Like, you know, if one day you want a gratitude journal and the next day you want to reflect on something else, like that's okay too. And I think some people just find it easier if they every day look up a prompt, and that's totally okay too.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, like, if you're an expert level yapper and you, like, as soon as you get started, it's like, you know, awkward at first, and all of a sudden, like, once you start, you're like, okay, so it gets easier now. Like, it gets easier to talk, and it gets easier to journal as it gets easier to yap once you start.
Agreed.
So, and then our next and last step is don't be afraid to experiment.
There are no rules. Try different prompts, writing styles, or even incorporate drawings or collages, like we said with scrapbooking.
And just experimenting with, you know, your setup even too. Like, are you drawing boxes one day, or maybe you're writing your words in little cloud shapes, or you're highlighting certain things, or, you know, trying out different aesthetics and what feels right for you. Like, I know I definitely have tried out different headings. Like, this is ultimately something fun and creative that you're doing for yourself, and you're taking the time for you to just kind of let loose and be free. And then, you know, of course, like we said, see what works best for you and feels natural. So, like, if you already know, you're like, I know that I'm going to love my boxes, and I'm going to highlight them, and I'm going to make them look 3D.
Do
it. Like, and then if you find out, I hate this.
Change
it. Like, nobody cares.
Exactly. It's just your eyes.
And if it bothers you, then it's okay. Like, you know, but you can also, like, kind of sit in that feeling and be like, okay, this is a good reflecting point for me.
Exactly. It can be another journaling prompt. Also, changing up your style might allow you to reflect on maybe a possible inability to change. Or hardship when it comes to change.
Also, one of the things when, you know, we can put for the start writing, you know, portion of this how-to is, you know, what do you want to write about? Sometimes people just want to track things and, like, a bullet journal, like, and you can look up, like, cute bullet journal, you know, ideas. Like, Pinterest, of course, has tons. You know, Pinterest is, you know, the go-to for all this type of stuff. So you can, you know, track your water, track your workout, track your mood. And you can make that cute and let your inspiration flow there. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, I'm writing out stuff like an essay. Like, that can also be very intimidating. There's different forms of journaling for sure.
Absolutely. And like you said, see what works best for you and what feels most natural.
And then, if you want to start more of like a diary, of your day to day, but you're like, I don't know how to start this. This feels weird. This feels awkward. Just start by like, almost you can kind of list it out. Like, what is your daily routine? Like, okay, well, first I wake up and I make my bed, and then I, brush my teeth and make breakfast.
I feel like when you start journaling, it's almost like you're introducing yourself to a new person.
Yeah.
You start by just the most obvious stuff about you. Your name, your favorite color, what you like to do, your daily routine. And by doing that, it makes it a lot easier to go into the deeper stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also like, depending on why you're journaling, like I feel like a why can be sometimes important depending on like what sparked your interest. So if you're coming to journaling with the, I want to improve myself, like, mentality, you can think about like, what am I getting from this? What do I want to do? And then like reflect. And then, like you said, like it's introducing you to other people. Reintroduce yourself to yourself, because maybe you'll tell yourself something that you wouldn't typically say. Like, maybe you'll realize, oh, the last time I introduced myself, like, I said this was my favorite song, and now this is my favorite song.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of see how you've evolved and you're changing and growing. So this is a fluid thing. Like, you don't have to write just like prompts, or you don't have to, like, you can draw. Like,
absolutely.
Do whatever your heart desires. That should be our mantra.
Do whatever your heart desires.
Yep.
Yeah. Like
so, that's the end of A Sip of Serenity.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
I hope you'll join us next week on
Sip and Spill.